everyone, and welcome to American Scousers post-match. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 0. I mean, if you want to really wake up at 6 in the morning, get like the blood flow going, the blood pressure, there's nothing better than a Liverpool game to get things really rolling. I'm your host, Timothy, with Brian and Kazi over here. Gentlemen, we get the 3 points, 4 points clear as we freaking speak. Brian, we'll start with you. What did you make of that one?
We made it a lot harder than it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I think really the first half right there was so many missed chances right there that we probably should have had this dusted probably in the first half, especially with the Jota misses that we had. I mean, there were some things that I saw were just, is this going to come back to haunt us, these misses? And luckily it didn't right there. But second half was just like breakup play the entire time right there. Crystal Palace was like playing a rugby match right there toward the second half. I mean, especially with Will Hughes. I mean, some of the tackles that were getting thrown in there were just, were good. But that was their game plan. I mean, they almost executed all right. I mean, aside from, Allison having some pretty solid saves, and then Jaros coming in and had some pretty decent saves himself. But all in all, I mean, it's 3 points, so can't complain.
It's definitely been a lot easier, right? I mean, like, there were so many chances. It's odd because we all know in this channel you're a huge fan of Nunez, Kazi, but it almost was a very Nunez-like game by Jota. Excellent, like a poacher finisher in the first goal. But then afterwards, like, ridiculous work rate. It's almost like hard to label him as he had a bad game because he worked so hard, man. It was like so physical, especially like with like what Brian is saying. They were wrestling and he wrestled back.
Yeah,
but then couldn't finish. It was like a Nunez kind of game coming from Jota after that.
I mean, I thought he played really well in terms of he's so clever.
Yes.
And in how he uses his body, he understands. Because he's probably had that his whole life growing up, that he's never the biggest striker in the team. And he has to use his body and use his brain a lot. He won a foul with like 2 minutes to go when he had 2 Palace defenders on him. And I think I cheered that more than the goal. Because I just wanted someone with a brain cell to use a brain for a minute. Gakpo did one with a couple of minutes ago. He went on a big run, kept the ball in play, and then won a foul. And I'm like, so, and then Endo comes on. I thought he was brilliant when he came on for the last 10. And, but going back to the performance, mate, I didn't think it was as bad. I thought we played really well, especially first half. I thought we played really well first half. I understand the frustration that people have got. The Jota one should do better when the ball goes across the box. You couldn't ask for a better chance 12 yards out for a striker. You know what I mean? To finish. And then they make a good change with Mateta, don't they? They bring Mateta on. It's a really good change.
Is that a good change or is that like a fixing your mistake?
Yeah, probably more that maybe. But I think the manager's trying something because they haven't won in 6. You know what I mean? He's tried something and it hasn't worked. I think he started last week and he get beat at Everton when you won the up, and Everton haven't won a game. And Everton have won 4 games, I think, or 5 games in 2025 and 2024, sorry. So he's tried something that hasn't worked. Mateta comes on. Mateta's really good. I thought really, really good. And then Liverpool struggle. But what Liverpool do, fella, and again, I go back to it a little bit. Like, I love when Liverpool win 1-0 and have a bit of a dire game sometimes because I'm not really used to seeing it that often. And I like to see it. Like, let's get it right. City go there and do the same performance, or Arsenal, especially Arsenal, will go there and do that kind of performance, won't they? And then we all go, that's just what Arsenal do. And you're like,
I would say, they were solid in the back. I mean, it's another clean sheet if you look at it that way.
You can see the two goals in 7 games, and it's another clean sheet with another fucking handsome goalkeeper that I've got to contain in my household. So, you know what I mean? Like, this kid comes on the pitch. I use this model that we just was strolled out. Don't even know who he is. And then he's like the best keeper in the world. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're really good as well. So, again, we'll get onto the alley injury, I'm sure. But he come on and had a really good save from Eze. And I think he came and caught one or punched a couple as well. And he anticipated the one when Kanate gets pulled on the halfway line. The ball gets pulled through to Eze. And Eze's one-on-one. And he really anticipates it well and gets off his line quick and clears up. That's going to give him loads of confidence as well, because we don't know how bad Kelleher's injury is.
I did not know he was going to suddenly appear on the screen. Yeah, you expect Ali to appear on the screen, but I was like, where is he? Like, is he waiting in his line or something like that? But
he was really good. He was professional. I'm super pleased. I'm super pleased with the performance. 3 points, Liverpool are guaranteed to be top of the league for the next 2-3 weeks. So let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like everybody was complaining on Discord. I'm like looking at the game, Brian, and I just don't like. I look at individual performances, right? And I mean, Costas and nobody, praises Costa. I never praised Costas much for. I mean, I thought he had a good game. I mean, throughout, I didn't see any, like maybe a few average performances here and there, but overall, you look at it individually, and it's all like pretty darn good performances. It's just the scoreline makes us nervous. I don't know if like like an Arsenal fan or a City fan watching this game, kind of like when we watch their games, right? I don't know if you get hopeful that or you're like, these guys are gonna freaking cruise with this. Crystal Palace is never gonna score.
I mean, I thought that the Costas and Gapco on that left side was actually worked out well. I mean, yeah. I mean, you could see where they were balancing each other out because Gapco was dropping back when Simicast was running up forward. It was a lot of mismatching through there, and I think it actually worked great. I mean, I don't think that would have worked as well with Diaz and Simicast. Because I think Diaz doesn't really track back the same exact way that Gapco does. I mean, I really don't have as many complaints with our overall performance. I think the one thing is I think that we showed that we were more resilient to this type of play to actually come out with a clean sheet and this, especially when you're missing like Allison toward the end right there. You had a couple other players that didn't make it on there. I did think that Nunez maybe toward the end might have been a little bit more to show some more stress on them, but I was happy with what Gapco did. The only sub I would have probably made earlier right there would have probably been Jones for Endo. I think that Jones struggled a little bit in that double pivot right there, and I think that's when they were in the ascendancy during that period after we took McAllister off. And I think that Endo would have probably broke up a lot more play than what Jones did.
Yeah, I think we were relying that Jones is better on the ball himself, so he can play the role of McAllister a lot more likely than Endo is going to in terms of going forward, not like maybe defensively. But I mean, yeah, Gakpo did extremely well on the left hand side. Let's go back to the one thing with the Nunez substitution that you mentioned. I would just be worried going back to what Kazi was saying that Nunez is going to be too eager to score and make something happen, and he's not going to finish it up professionally like Jota would, where he would take the foul, kill another 45 seconds at a time and stuff like that, whereas Nunez is going to try to make an impact, like put the game away kind of a thing. He just, personality-wise, I know some of it is probably youth, maturity, international. I mean, Jota is very experienced for his age, even though he's not that old of a dude. But let's go to this whole Allison injury thing, because first of all, I hope everybody understands why now we're kind of looking ahead and investing in another goalkeeper. That's for one. I guess my thing is he does this a couple of times. Mind you, that's not why this one happened. I thought this came from a very unnecessary back pass, if anything. And then Trent tried to get Jarosz injured as well. 5 minutes later, put him under the freaking pressure. I just feel like sometimes we play it unnecessarily. And at the same time, I feel like sometimes Ali does that outside of the foot booting away thing, which is what hurt him last time. It wasn't this time, but are we overusing the goalie? Is that why we're getting these injuries, Kazi?
No, I just think he's prone to it. I do have a thing here, though, fellas.
But if you know he's prone to it, why? You know what I mean? That, I know, I agree, but then why keep doing it and overuse it?
Because it's so difficult, this, but I always go back to when certain players are injury prone. When you're at the level of him, you have to swallow it because there's no one close to his level because he's that good. Let's get it right. He won us the game today, Allison.
Oh, yeah.
He's made some unbelievable saves. And let's get, and this is my bias. I think it's Allison, and then I think there's everyone else. So you're doing Allison for the 35 games that he can probably get you. Do you know what I'm saying? Over the season, when you know he's got this. The one I have for you guys, I think he's been nursing this because don't forget he doesn't play against Bournemouth at home. 2 weeks ago, doesn't play. Kelleher plays, and Kelleher plays the League Cup game, which you can't expect it. And then Allison comes back in. So this could be one that he's been nursing a little bit to get to the international break, and it's gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
makes sense.
So this could have been. This is also something on the manager and the medical team to go. Well, actually, no, you're not really still fit. Maybe I don't know. It's
but then again, there was no Keller today. Maybe that's why.
That's another thing, maybe as well. You know what I mean? Something could have happened in training this week. The one thing you don't want to do is give Palace hope going into the game. Well, there's no fucking Allison in goal. Do you know what I mean? So there's I don't know, man. I just think we need to relax a little bit in terms of it's frustrating, and I understand what Liverpool are doing with the Mamardashvili deal. I get it, but he could be back in 2 weeks. We just don't know. There's an international break right now.
Yeah, with the hammy, you never know. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 4 to 6 weeks. It could be 2 months. The problem with the hammy is maybe that's what happened. He came early.
We don't know.
It just punts everything again another like 3-4 weeks. John says second half was absolutely boring. I mean, honestly, control. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, man, you must have a really exciting life because I was dying watching the last 15 minutes. So if you were bored, man, I want to have your life because I was on pins and needles. But honestly, like within the control, we normally complain, Brian, that we're controlling the game, but we're not creating. That wasn't the case today. I thought we did really well in creating. Is that us? Is that Palace?
I mean, I think it was more on Palace. I think that Palace came there and had their execute their game plan the way they wanted to. They wanted to go through and try to frustrate us and move us. I think that we actually I was listening watching Discord where people say that we were playing around with the ball way too much in the box right there. But I mean, there's sometimes right there when a defensive unit set up that way, you have to go in there to draw somebody out through those lines right there. And I think that's what we were trying to do. I mean, this is a new. I think people are used to what Klopp's system was right there, where we just run the hell out of the teams right there and wait for them to get overstretched. I think this is now right there where you're pinpointing passes right there to actually draw people out of their positions right there to score. And I think that we did it well. And again, we missed some opportunities in this match right there. I mean, with our creation. So I don't think the creation part was bad. I think that again, this goes back to Palace executing their plan in the second half right there. And I mean, and they almost came there and got a point out of this right there. If it wasn't for some maybe possibly even a win, if it wasn't for some fantastic saves from both keepers.
Yeah. I think there's a thing over here, Tim, as well, where if you're Palace, you're missing Anderson so much. You miss Anderson. Massive. Fuck me, mate. What a fucking player he was, by the way. And it's just that long ball, that diag, that he used to do a diag to Elise and the diag to Eze and stuff like that on the wings. And it really got them an outlet. It could isolate the defenders. When they're missing that, they haven't got a defender who can do it. So it felt like Liverpool could kind of pressure them high, knowing, well, you're not going to go over the top to us. You've got to go through us a little bit. Yeah. And then their midfield line was really high in Liverpool, especially in the first half. Their midfield was like really behind this.
There was a huge gap between their back line and the front line.
Gravenberch should just roll.
Yeah.
Literally roll, and then he's got like 12 yards of space to run into. It was super weird. But
it was like a 5-0-5 formation.
Yeah, it was super weird. I don't know how weird, but they got it together second half. You know what I mean? But I agree with everything that Brian just said. Really, I thought Liverpool created good chances. Really good chances that Liverpool should have won the game. The free kick from Trent in the second half, where Jota gets a free header, he has to score. Score. He has to score, and you win the game 2-0. And everyone's a lot more calmer, a lot more, But going back to it, mate, I think we need to. Liverpool top of the league here, and the manager's going to make mistakes throughout the game, and he's going to make mistakes throughout the season. He's new on the job. He's learning as he goes, and Liverpool's still winning games. That's all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, by the way. I thought in terms of rotation, like when I saw the lineup,
I was happy
for the midweek game. I was like, we're screwed this Saturday, was my initial thought, because I really wanted the rotation midweek.
Yeah.
And then, I woke up literally like a few minutes before kickoff, and I look at the lineup, and I was like, oh, fuck. But mainly because, honestly, more than Costas than anything else, I was okay with, like, Gakpo and everything. But in some ways, when you look at it, you look at the substitutions and stuff, it almost worked out perfectly the way he rotated without any drop-off. We kind of, like, take that for granted.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the McAllister one, do we know if he's injured? Do we know?
I know he had an ice. I almost felt like he was going to go 60 anyway, and with the yellow card and stuff, he didn't even do this. Is the way
I kind of hope it's a semi-injury so he doesn't go to Argentina and just stays here.
Yeah, hopefully it is that. Hopefully it is that. I didn't think Szoboszlai was great when he came on. I thought he was kind of silly. He shoots when he shouldn't shoot. And the one on the edge of the box.
That's the thing, yes. Like, the overpassing. Like, we overpass almost feels like when we should shoot, and then we shoot when we should probably go wide or something.
Creating chances for him to shoot in that area because he's the best one to do that kind of shot outside the box. And then you pass it to Salah, and Salah's like, why are you giving this to me? Like, of all times. But that was frustrating. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think even though the first shot he made right there, where you had Trent making a run on this on the side end right there, it's like, dude, pass the fucking ball. I mean, to opportunity, and then the stoppage time when he shoots right there, it's like you said in Discord, that's criminal to shoot right there at stoppage time right there. So you actually gave them more time to go out there, set back, and reset, and go out there and put a ball up the pitch. I mean, kill the game. I mean, that's just smart. Just trying to be smart. Kill the game off. Pass the ball around, back, or do something else besides shoot the ball, and especially skying the ball like into the middle of the stands.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing. By the way, I was going to ask you guys this. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about it during the week because God knows it's International Week, so we're gonna need stuff to talk about aside from international games. But do you guys sometimes get the feeling, as I watch this team, Kazi?
Cool.
I get the feeling, especially with Trent and Robo, and even like there was a moment in like the 18th minute, Costas is just taking off up the middle where we had the ball in. I'm like, where are you going, dude? Like, I almost feel like it's not even a good run. Like he's just like, we're all sprinting forward. Do you get the feeling as you watch the team sometimes where those guys have not really totally adjusted to what we are doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's brand new, isn't it? It's a brand new kind of feel here. Like, Virgil was fucking going crazy at Costas the first 20, weren't he? He was going insane. Like, I'm not dealing with you today. The first 20 seconds, he's let the fucking striker run off him. But then this allowed goal for the cross in. He just allowed him to run off him. No, he's so slow to react, and you can see Virgil losing his mind for 20. But it's going to take time to adjust, and this is why I'm so happy what the team's doing, mate, in terms of getting over the line. Liverpool are still winning games, and listen, it's not that we're seeing a drop-off, we're just seeing something different. But the lads are going to get better and better throughout the season when they know the system more, when they know when to do the extra pass, or when they know when to shoot and get the ball off, which is what we're complaining about, when they know when to go and know when to stay and that kind of stuff. And that's why I think players like Jota and again, Gakpo and Endo was so clever the last 10. Really smart footy players.
Okay, like Jota experience, Endo obviously experience and stuff. What is it that sometimes, like Gakpo's a young dude. Is it just like, sports smarts or like being able to control your emotions? Because like some players, you're like, dude, have you never played this game? What are you doing? Like, take it to the corner or whatever, I just like, sometimes it's baffling.
It's a bit like, there's players who like, of course, who are very smart on the ball and they're very clever, and because they've done that the whole life. So when you look at like the three that we just mentioned, especially because I was so impressed with them in the last 10, it's like, do you understand the game? Do you understand that, intensity is a thing and pressure is a thing in a football match, and it can sway quickly. Liverpool have been on the waves of under Klopp for 9 years, or waves of like when something happens in a game switch, and then everyone goes crazy and we all just swarm a team. You know what I mean? Famously, the 4-3 against City, when we just swarm them for half an hour and score 4. Those type of games. The Arsenal 2-2 game a couple of years ago, when Arsenal 2-0 up, Xhaka kicks Trent and there's fucking murder, then Liverpool just swarm them. Palace had a swarm going on a little bit. So you had to kill them. You kill them with your brain and your street smarts. You kill them of when to shoot and not to shoot, to go to the corner and when not to go to the corner. I think there was a pass that, it could have been supposedly actually, that played to Diaz on the right-hand side with 90 seconds to go. And Diaz wins a throw-in. And I was so happy because last year's Diaz would have tried to cut in and do a cross. Yeah. And just he understood his role a little bit on that right-hand side. So, by the way, for all the other people out there, if you ever talk about a Salah replacement and he's not left-footed, I will not entertain the conversation with you because the balance is all out when a right footer is on the right-hand side, but that's by the way. But they're the type of players that you need, mate, to get you through moments in football matches. And I was so happy that Endo's finding his little role because let's get it right, he played really well for Liverpool last year in moments, especially for 3 months when Liverpool was struggling. He was really good. We all thought he was getting bombed in the summer because he wasn't that type of player. But now he's finding his little niche and his little moments in games to come in and go, no, I know what I'm doing here. I can win a great foul for you. I can take a great yellow because he takes great yellows most games anyway. So I'm just happy that the lads are learning as they go. It's another clean sheet for Canate. Do you know what I mean? And it's another clean sheet for Virgil, and they get their so we're building to something. But again, I just think we're going to get better and better and better the more we play because the lads are learning the system more.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Brian. Like, you would think, I mean, I realize the schedule is easier, but you only play the teams in front. And let's face it, this team under Klopp, when we consider them to be extremely well, will lose points to opposition like this regularly, especially at home and stuff like that, right? Especially, God knows, a 6:30 game, right? So that's another thing. Well, noon game over there. But so I feel like in some ways it's a lot of positive signs, because you still see, I see especially the back line struggling the most with adjusting to the new setup. Like I say, like the one is the guys on the sides, like just like bombing at times when they probably should not. And then in the middle, it almost feels like they have too much help. They're not used to having this much help. Like there's a lot of, like in the past, they were so like kind of like stretched because the guys are up top. They're not, the center backs are not close to each other. Now we're seeing regularly where Konate and Van Dijk are like leaving it to each other, because it's almost like they're not used to playing this close to the other center back. So getting these scores and getting these points, doesn't matter what the scoreline is. And you can argue any clean sheet scoreline is a good scoreline at the end of the day. I mean, it has to be a huge bonus knowing we have a new manager with a new system. And maybe the biggest thing that has helped him is the fact that we didn't do a lot of moves in the summer. At least everybody knows each other.
But I think that like Van Dijk's reinvented himself in a lot of different ways right there. You don't see that Van Dijk that we saw a couple of seasons ago that would run up the pitch right there and do these things like that. I think he's kind of laid it off a lot more for Konate to make a lot more of these runs and all that. And so I think they're gaining a good relationship with each other, which is why I came there and said, like on the Monday podcast, that Kwanzaa's not going to get in the side right there until at least the Brighton match right there at the Carabao Cup. That's the only time you're probably going to see Kwanzaa again there, unless we have like rubber stamp matches in the Champions League. Because I don't see Kwanzaa coming into the league picture at the moment, not with the form that Konate's on, and you're not setting your captain down. So I mean, I think it's a mute point for us to keep on talking about Kwanzaa this, Kwanzaa that. I think that that Kwanzaa is either the number 3 or number 4 in that spot right now, because honestly, at the moment, I mean, as much as we prize about how Kwanzaa played last year, I would probably go there and go with Gomez maybe ahead of him right there, just over experience and like in the league and playing the league. I mean, I think that it was a harsh decision right there that he made on that first match to pull Kwanzaa, but I think it's worked. And I think that is sometimes you need managers like that, like Cosby was talking about last week. You did this right there to this guy, pull a starter like we were talking about with Szoboszlai like that. Sometimes you need to come out there and have that cutting edge as a manager, and luckily this time it worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the back four relationship is growing, and I think that, when you were talking about Simicast going in the middle, Trent came there and went in the middle toward that match too. And Trent switched sides at one point in that match. Was on the left hand side. It's like, what the hell are you doing, guy? I mean, stay in your rotation. I mean, if you're not going to be in a midfielder, stay in your lane, and all that. But yeah, I think I'm encouraged. I like clean sheets. Clean sheets right there make me feel happy right there. I prize with the defending right there more so than scoring at times right there, because I think you win leagues off you win the league off of defense.
I think there's a thing here though, Tim, right? And we need to like, because I know the podcast that we're on here and there's new fans to Liverpool, and there might have been new fans in the last 5 to 10 years when you've only known Jurgen Klopp, really.
Yeah.
I heard Liverpool fans for 12 months last year going, can we stop conceding in the first 10?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Liverpool stopped that, and then we moan that it's boring. Or it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, you can't have the best of both worlds, gents, because perfect football isn't out anymore. I think this kind of results that we're getting just remind me of the 1920 season when Liverpool won the league, won the first 27 to 28. I can remember the games. I don't think we won loads of games by more than 2 goals. I don't think there was many that we won. It was just a lot of 2-1 wins. I think we went to Villa and won 2-1 and stuff. Just standard run-of-the-mill football matches, which can happen. So what I'm getting at is that we were very blessed with the previous manager, because he was just an unbelievable human being, and he was crazy, but we all loved him, and he came to the city and all that kind of stuff. But this is what football is. Football is, it's a bit like boxing. When you go, well, Floyd Mayweather's boring. Well, the art of boxing is hit and not get hit. And that's exactly what he does. The art of football is to not concede goals and score goals. That's the art of the football in the essence here. And that's what Liverpool are doing at the moment. we're all a bit older here, gents, so we kind of grew up watching Rafa Benitez football and Houllier football. And it was, I'm sorry, lads, that's exactly what it was like. It was this kind
It was exciting, that's for
That's
sure.
what I'm about to say right there. This is a very much so like a Jed type football play, like that. You know, we used to go there and then, hey, defend and kill games, defend, kill game, and then get your score, kill it off.
Some of these newer fans to the club, and I want to this isn't me laughing at you guys at all, or taking the piss here. It's more crediting you because you never had to watch Jose Mourinho versus Rafa Benitez in there. 04 to 08 when we played Chelsea every week.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it was just dire. So you guys have never had to experience that. But going back to this point, it's like Liverpool are creating chances. Liverpool are in games. What I wanted Liverpool to stop doing last year is conceding easy goals. That's what Liverpool have done, is stop conceding easy goals. It's making us hard to beat. And as Brian just said, that's how you win leagues. And that's how Liverpool won the league under Klopp. We just did stop conceding goals. We just stunk out games a little bit. And we won football matches. So that's all that matters. So I'm super pleased, mate, and I'm happy. And I'm really excited for the season. You don't win the league after 7 games, but you can fucking lose after 7 games.
Yeah.
And Liverpool are banging it.
I mean, honestly, I think we were talking this midweek in the post-match, Brian. I mean, if you're taking over this job as anybody, so if you're Slot coming into this job, what's the problem over here? You guys concede goals all the time early. Well, let's fucking fix that then. And that's that would be your first order of business. If there's a to-do list of the new manager, that's probably what's on the top. And to his credit, aside from the offside ones that we regularly, for some reason, get scored on every single game in the beginning. I mean, we've kind of stopped that, but that's the thing, right? Now we want the other one as well. Just take the 3 points. It's not good on the heart, but I mean, honestly, today, the only reason it got this way is we just were not clinical. And you get 3 points and a clean sheet. You only get 3 points if you have a clean sheet when you're not clinical, and they were able to do that, and that's the biggest thing. Before we go though, Brian, your man of the match today.
Simicast, in my opinion. Honestly, I really, I want to kind of give it to him right there because I think that, and even the pre-match right there, I was so very, very
is that a vote based on expectation versus performance or just overall?
I mean, I think he.
Is it like a grading scale?
I mean, I really think that he affected the match more right there in the first half. I think that I think that his pass that he made right there to Gakpo that set up the Jota goal was. I mean, that was that's what won the match for us. So, I mean, so you kind of have to go with his assist basically right there was what killed this match off.
I mean, I have no issue with Costa. It's hard not to give it to the defender when you keep a clean sheet.
Right, I was just thinking the same.
and I said Canate was going to be my man of the match right there from the get go. But I mean, I had to give it to Simicast right there just because of the way he played.
It's fair.
Well, are you ever going to give it to Simicast? Might as well give it there.
Probably never again.
I'll go different. I will go different. I'll go Gakpo. He gets the assist. And it's a great pass. It's a great run. And I thought and he did make some really good runs. He should do better with his chance. But the last 10, mate, he was excellent. He understood the assignment. And I love players who just understand the assignments. You can lose the game here, but you've already won the game. You can win the game for 10 minutes of dullness. And he really understood it. So I thought Cody Gakpo was really, really good as well.
I was going to go with Gakpo too, because I talked about something on the Monday podcast. There was a moment in the last game where there's a long ball played. Gakpo does not chase it. And then, they get the ball and they come right back. I think it was not the midweek game, but the week before last weekend's game. And, 2 minutes later, the same thing happens. Jota chases the ball down and then we get a throw in and stuff. So I was kind of complaining about that. Whereas I felt like today he was 100% effort at all times, defensively, chasing balls down, putting pressure. I mean, that's one thing that I thought we did that they didn't do to us and made life easier. When their defense had the ball trying to build play, they could never get their head up. It was pressure on them at all times. I think Gakpo and Jota, I think, are a huge part of it.
And I actually thought he got Will Hughes sent off. Do you when you play advantage when you get the gap? And then Will Hughes just cleans him out. He's just being booked. Yeah. Cleans him. And I was like, well, he's gone. And he went, no, I'm booking him for that one. But I'm not going to book him for this one. I was like,
And that's why he just said in Discord right there, said Hughes has to be off. I mean, he's got to be sent off for that. I mean, that's a yeah. I
You
mean,
himself thought he was off. It
Yeah.
looked like, right? Like he had a look of a guy like, well, that was a quick shift.
yeah, that was like, yeah, Gerrard against United winning when he just
Yeah.
comes on.
That has to be the shortest ever.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the Gakpo thing, that was an excellent run by Gakpo. Like, got the assignment. My lads are under pressure here. My size and space, he's very quick, and he's so quick, Cody Gakpo. Like, he's deceivingly quick for the size, and he beats one sheer pulled. I think he loses a boot at one point, and then Will Hughes cleans him. So really clever, going back to the cleverness of footballers. Win the foul, take the pressure off, and that's exactly what he did in that moment. So.
And
But
you
you
know,
know, so if he's-
like him cutting in puts the scare in defenders with that right foot when he gets it on that right foot and he's about to take a shot. It opens. I mean, the pass that he had to like Szoboszlai and stuff, it opens it up a lot because they are so worried about that shot. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry, you were about to.
But you know, to go to appease John right there, you can't go a post match without talking about Gravenberch right there, because Gravenberch right there still had another fantastic match. I mean, it wasn't like I mean, if it wasn't for what I said with Simicast right there doing his thing, Gravenberch came there was controlling that midfield for a good portion of time right there. I mean, it was pretty fair play. I mean, his run of form right now is on I mean, sky level at the moment.
It looks like he has like eyes on the back of his head. Like he knows when to turn with that ball and the touch he puts as he turns and stuff. Yes, he's been golden. Hey, these morning games suck. I mean, I hate to complain because poor Kazi has like 4:30 over there. But the beauty of it is now you can just kick back.
And I'm watching Szoboszlai take pot shots with 3 minutes to go. Give me a break, please.
And the games have started really furious over here. There's already a bunch of goals, but now we can just kick back and enjoy knowing we're having this
2 weeks, guys, of being top of the league. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, hell yeah. International break, top of the league. But hey, thanks for joining as always. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the games, knowing whatever the fuck they do, they're never going to get 4 points.
They'll make a difference.
Top of the league. So there's that. But have a great weekend, everybody.